From Good Morning America and George Stephanopoulos, Kerry Kennedy talks about endorsing Biden for president over her brother, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Quote, I think nobody competes with President Biden when it comes to carrying on the legacies of John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy and Ted Kennedy. This is absolutely insane. So first of all, George Stephanopoulos, right, old Clinton fixer, he worked his hardest to discredit some of his accusers back in the day. Then he brought Nancy Mace onto his show and said, well, you're a victim of assault. How dare you support President Trump because we've accused him of assault?
Asking you a very simple question.
And I answered it. You're shaming me for my political choices.
I'm asking you a question about why you endorse someone who's been found liable for rape.
It was not.
And he also famously donated to the Clinton Foundation while he was, quote unquote, reporting the news for ABC and basically forced to apologize for donating thousands of dollars and not disclosing it to the audience.
An extraordinary apology from George Stephanopoulos live on Good Morning America. He admitted that he donated $75,000 to the Clinton Foundation and failed to disclose it even as he reported on the controversies surrounding the foundation.
But I should have made additional disclosures on air when we covered the foundation. And I now believe that directing personal donations to that foundation was a mistake. Even though I made them strictly support work done to stop the spread of AIDS, help children, and protect the environment in poor countries, I should have gone the extra mile to avoid even the appearance of a conflict. I apologize to all of you for failing to do that.
He is a complete snake. He is quite literally towards the top of the chain as far as the Democrat establishment regime is concerned. And this is now, I don't know how big the family is, but this is another one of RFK's sisters. So the establishment, who may or may not have had some hand in getting rid of JFK, these women now know that, okay, we're in the establishment now. We saw what they're capable of, so we're going to go to bat for these regime hack, puppet, shill communists. And this is, of course, the second sister he's had on the show. So the first time around, he had Rory Kennedy on to, quote unquote, promote a movie she made, and then said, oh, well, Donald Trump's a cult leader and it's really dangerous. And now I think they're just doubling down with this other weird lady saying, a vote for my own brother is dangerous. And there's also, I don't know if there's video of this, but I think they've also turned his own wife, Cheryl Hines, against him, but that's a completely different story.
Oh, why do you think your brother's run is dangerous?
Why do you think your brother's run is dangerous? It's literally the exact same talking point from the other. Oh, it's dangerous. They're never going to explain why. Is it dangerous that President Beau Biden has let in millions of illegals that are running roughshod over citizens, getting free handouts, committing crimes left and right, all the way up to eliminating Americans? But RFK Jr.'s run is dangerous? The same guy that didn't get Secret Service protection because of Beau Biden, that could be considered dangerous. But this man just having a point, and look, I'm no huge fan of RFK. He did good on the forced pharmaceuticals, but otherwise he's completely crazy. But we know that if you parrot 99 out of 100 talking points, that's just not enough. So now RFK is so dangerous that both of his sisters and quite possibly his wife have come out against him. And just, sorry. So you let me know, what's more dangerous? Him running or the people convincing his own family members to side with him? What's more dangerous? Okay, let's go.
No, this is the most important election of my lifetime. We're up against Donald Trump, who said he's going to be a dictator on day one.
Oh, she got all the talking points, right? I mean, it's not even remotely realistic. Why is he dangerous? Oh, he's going to be a dictator on day. It's just come up with a new phrase. Just mention one policy you don't like, but of course they won't, because if they mention one policy from Donald Trump they don't like, then there's going to be a slew of people who are mentioning the policies that the Democrats are pushing they don't like.
lays claim to overturning Roe v. Wade, who has said he wants to change the Constitution in order to go after his enemies and his...
Wait, he wants to change the Constitution, so now all of a sudden they care about the Constitution, and they're afraid that Donald Trump is going to change it to go after his political opponents, which is quite literally exactly what's happening to him on a grand scale.
Critics, the list goes on and on and on. And so we must elect President Biden, and that's where all our energy has to be.
And I'm sorry, I'm just genuinely curious how anybody can even pretend for one split second that George Stephanopoulos is an actual news reporter. He is part of the regime, like I said. I mean, arguably at the top of the chain by this point. I mean, working in the Clinton White House, and now saying, "Oh, well, why is your brother's run?" Okay, I guess he's an independent, but right, somebody who could be considered part of the regime. I mean, it's a complete mess. But how is anybody taking him remotely serious as somebody who is going to report the facts? It's just unbelievable.
A lot of people see the name Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on the ballot and think he's carrying on the legacy of your father and your uncles. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think, nobody competes with President Biden when it comes to carrying on the legacies of John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy and Ted Kennedy.
Look, is that true? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the history, but I was under the impression that, people say, "Oh, I'm a Kennedy Democrat." That used to be the standard. And now it's the exact opposite. So the man who bears the same family name is no good for the party, and he doesn't stand for what Joe Biden stands for, and Beau Biden is carrying on the legacy. How?
He's spent his whole life working on behalf of working people, of gig workers. He marched with the UAW and helped to end that strike early. He's an extraordinary leader. He's brought us over 800 million jobs, historic job growth. 15 million new jobs.
She fumbled the talking point a little bit, and maybe she'll get there, I don't know, but I'm under the impression that his VP pick is a far left hack. So that's dangerous too, apparently.
800,000 in manufacturing alone. He cares about all of us. And he was inspired to get into politics because of my father. So I think there's no competition with him. We need to assure that he's elected.
Why do you think your brother is running? He must know that he can't win. Do you think he's trying to elect Donald Trump?
I think the point here today is...
RFK knows he can't win, which could, I suppose, is totally true. But they know, okay, he's not going to win the most votes, fair enough. But to have George Stephanopoulos say he doesn't stand a chance is because they know they're going to work their hardest to make sure that he doesn't get in.
Electing Joe Biden. It's a two-man race. There's only two people in this race who can get to 270 electoral votes, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden stands for the middle class. Joe Biden has built up our economy under...
What? Joe Biden stands for the middle class while his son refuses to pay any taxes and has built up our economy? I guess they're so deep in, they know this is not true. Even this weird shaky old boomer lady knows this is not true. But they think they have complete control, which perhaps they do. They could just spew lies at every opportunity and still be under the impression that you're going to believe it. And it's absolutely crazy for these people. Think about NPR, right? I mean, the fake news is through the roof and they're still having such a hard time. If they were even remotely honest, it wouldn't even be a discussion.
Joe Biden's leadership, crime has gone down 10% over the last several years.
Several years? How about you name them? How about you tell us exactly how many years crime has gone down under Beau Biden?
He is an extraordinary leader.
And you can't just pick, this is what they always do, they pick the highest point And then when it comes down a tiny bit, they say, oh, look, we fixed it, even though it skyrocketed, right? Oh, and inflation is down. Yeah, but it went up to a 41-year high and then came down a tiny bit, and you want to take credit for it. These people are despicable. And Bo Biden, these are the AWFLs, hard at work, right?
The AWFLs, the affluent white female liberals in the Democrat Party.
Bo Biden's own wife, Jill, the two Kennedy sisters, it's just nonstop. Jen Psaki, and there's problems all over the place, right? So, oh, it's the black people, or oh, it might be a certain group of people that you're not supposed to talk about, and that's all part of the problem, which I think, of course, solidifies the point that it has nothing to do with race. They're terrible people all over the place, and this woman just happens to be the apparently a leader of the AWFLs.
He cares deeply. He shares my family's values. We need every single person to vote and vote for Joe Biden. If everyone who can vote goes out and votes, Joe Biden wins. And that's what we're here to do today.
Did you try to talk your brother out of this, and can you still get together as a family?
Bro, you were just talking as a Democratic hitman. Like, it's not even remotely realistic. Did you try to talk him out of it? Why is it so dangerous? Like, you can't even pretend to be a middle of the road journalist. Like, this is worse than this is ABC, and they're completely terrible. I did an entire video about all of their people, from George Stephanopoulos all the way down to some of the local reporters that are all in on the agenda. But you can't even pretend. I'm figured out. I mean, he's going to lie to us either way. But why wouldn't this man even pretend to be a regular journalist? Oh, did you try to talk? This is painful to watch.
We absolutely, in a big family, you have to love everybody, but you don't have to like them. In our family, we love Bobby and we like him. But that's not what this race is about. This race is Donald Trump.
I mean, just imagine being so bad that your campaign runs around the binning of babies and convincing the family members of one man, arguably in your own establishment party, coming out against. I mean, how bad do you have to be, right? It's just ridiculous.
Is an existential threat to our country and to our world.
Every single talking point, existential threat. Oh, so dangerous. Oh, the rule of law, the Constitution. Oh, dictator on day one. Every single talking point, right? Like, just read the note cards. Let us see the talking point note cards.
He's abandoning Ukraine. He is harmful to LGBTQ rights. He doesn't believe that you should be able to love who you love. He's abused women in the most egregious ways, as we all know. He's
kind of like Bo Biden and Slick Willie Clinton. I mean, politicians all over the place. This weird sex stuff is just through the roof. But of course, we're going to single out Orange Man bad. Oh, she's shaking like a chihuahua. And her and Rory both have this like weird, vocal fry or whatever it is. It's not quite as extreme as RFK Jr., who's, he sounds like he's about to die. But these people are completely untrustworthy, to put it nicely.
He's overturned Roe v. Wade. He's packed the Supreme Court. As I said, he wants to be a dictator.
He's packed the Supreme Court? He literally did not. He did not do that. He chose some people that he thought would get the job done. And meanwhile, you have the entire Democratic establishment saying, oh, there should be 13 Supreme Court justices.
Day one. What else do we need to know about him as opposed to Joe Biden, who cares about women, who's fought his whole life?
He doesn't. This is really triggering. I'm sorry. Joe Biden cares about women, right? Is that why he's letting men go into colleges and run roughshod over girls, and then bringing in the weirdo transformer on some pride parade to take zimzers top off, and declaring Easter as a Catholic president? And I believe JFK, the original, I don't know if he's the original, but John F. Kennedy was also Catholic, and then they just changed. Okay, nope, it's Easter, fine, so what? Happy Easter. But more importantly, it's Transformer Day of Visibility. He cares about women. This is.
I'm losing my patience. God, Devil's plea?
Fuck! You're kidding!
Judge.
For women and to stop violence against women. This is the man who we all need to vote for.
Oh, why do you think?
This is crazy. And just really quickly, this is the other sister, or one of the other sisters, and they did an entire article. I read the article. I watched the full interview where she went to, promote a documentary she made about a cult. And then, of course, Stopanopolis or whatever asked her about, oh, well, we're seeing a cult-like figure in our politics right now, and he's so dangerous. And this is a clip from that interview only a couple weeks ago. So in the span of a month, they have employed 2 Kennedy sisters to tell you that, of course, orange men bad. That's natural. We all know that. But also, their own brother is also bad, because that's how little they care about you.
Brother, of course, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is running for president right now. You say this is the most important election of our lifetime, and that a vote for your brother is actually dangerous?
Well, my biggest concern with Bobby's run is that he is going to take votes away from Biden. And I think this election is going to come down to a handful of votes in a handful of states. And I am concerned that voting for Bobby is going to take votes away from Biden and lead to a Trump election. And I'm very concerned what that will do to our country and to the world over the ensuing 4 years.
Brother, of course.
Yeah, I mean, these women are just so concerned, and they're they're obviously snakes in the grass, but I can almost understand it, because as a Kennedy, and a lot of people have been talking for many, many years about what happened to John F. Kennedy, and I don't know, perhaps these women have seen it firsthand, so they know now that they have to bow to the establishment, and they are going to do everything they can to make sure that you bow to the establishment against their own brother.